The Tom Leykis Show.
Huh?
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. On a recent edition of the Tom Leykis Show, we had Gary call in, and Gary told a very interesting story.
About a booty call a couple years ago. I took some vacation. I was going to go to Yellowstone. I asked this girl to go because I didn't have a girlfriend at the time, and slept all the way to Yellowstone. Told her to stay awake, wanted someone to talk to. Got there, drove me crazy the whole time. You know, when on vacation, I go really relaxed. Take a shower, shorts, T-shirt, comb your hair, deodorant, off you go. Hour and a half waiting for her after I'm ready. Called some family members, asked them what to do. I came inches from just giving her a bus ticket, leaving her in Yellowstone, and taking off on my own.
Inches? That wasn't close enough.
Oh, if my aunt wouldn't have told me not to, she would have been sitting in Yellowstone. So I didn't care how she'd make it home.
Now, why did he come inches from doing that? Why not just leave it there? Why not? I say if a chick is being a bitch and you're driving the car, you're in the driver's seat in more ways than one. Now, you know, I've told you boys on the air, if, for example, you are at dinner with a woman and she answers her cell phone, dump that bitch. I've told you that, remember? Dump her. And the way you dump her is you simply, if you're at the restaurant, get up, excuse yourself like you're going to the bathroom. Head for the bathroom. When she's not looking, you just go to the valet, get your car, and leave. She has to find her way home. How about when a chick is out in the car with you somewhere, you're driving around, you're going to the beach, or you're driving up north, whatever state you're in. There's always a driving up north. Ever do that? In California, we'd be driving up north, sure. If you're in Washington, I've done it there. You're in Seattle, you drive up north like San Juan's or something for the weekend, you're driving up north. If you're in Florida, maybe you drive up north to Orlando. If you're in New York, drive up north to the Catskills. There's always the driving up north thing, right? You're driving up north, and she's just a big pain in the ass. What's wrong with next time she asks to go to the bathroom, you drop her off and continue going up north on your own? What's wrong with that? Now, you may say I'm being unreasonable about this, but when a chick ends up acting like a bitch or a nag, I think no extreme is too extreme. With the exception of maybe killing her, I wouldn't recommend that, or hitting her, but certainly leaving her at the ladies' room at the Arco station somewhere along the freeway, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. There are cases when a chick is just too much of a bitch. Now, you may think I'm being unreasonable, but I guarantee you there are men out there, and we will talk to them this hour, and maybe a few women, who have simply had their fill while they were going somewhere, traveling somewhere, whatever, and so they simply left somebody somewhere. Here's another one. We talked about these trips that you take sometimes with a booty call or someone you don't know all that well. And I don't know, let's say you go to Las Vegas with somebody on the premise that when you get there, the two of you will have sex. When you get there, she says, I hardly know you. Let's go gambling. What would be wrong with just checking out the room and driving back to L.A. or Phoenix or Seattle without her? What would be wrong with leaving her there? Tough luck. Leave her. Labor. I got no problem with that. And I'll bet there's a lot of other men who don't have a problem with that. Men like you.
Tom Leykis.
1-800-5800-TOM.
1-800-5800-866.
I just want to say I love you in a heterosexual way.
Good. My ass is intact then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. I should tell you one more thing here. In the 16 years I've lived in Los Angeles, most of those years I've lived in or near Laurel Canyon. And I can't tell you how many times late at night I have seen a woman wearing black in like a leather skirt, maybe a mini skirt of some kind, very high heel boots, trying to navigate her way downhill towards Sunset Boulevard in the dark, presumably after she either got thrown out of somebody's car or somebody said, go ahead, get out, go ahead, leave. You're threatening to leave? Go ahead, do it. You know what I'm talking about. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. It's David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, much respect, much respect.
Thank you.
Prom night. Me, my best friend, his girlfriend, and my date, we go out. We had a pretty good time at the dance and everything. Then we get back in the limo. We're starting to party. The smoke's too much. You guys are drinking too much. I'm getting scared. So asked the driver to kindly pull over, escorted the girl out of the vehicle, put her bottom down in the ice plant on the side of the road. All the time thinking, I'm going to catch holy hell from my friend's girlfriend. Get back in the limo, slam the door. She looks at me and says, it's about time, and gives me the high five.
I love that. Anyone's going to be a pain in the ass, they're out. You know what? Get out of my car.
It was a beautiful thing, and I couldn't have wrote a better ending to the prom.
I completely love it, David. Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Kevin on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Tom, got a great story for you.
Yeah.
There's a group of us, a large group of us. We go to Vegas once a year for, let's say, a convention. I don't want to say exactly what. Let's say it's a chess convention, a huge chess tournament throughout the United States. Thousands of people there. And there's about 50 of us here from SoCal that go. And this girl that I've known for a couple of years, and we've had sexual innuendos, little groping here and there, joking around during our little convention here in Southern California. We see each other weekly. I knew eventually it was going to happen. Something was going to happen. It was getting thicker and heavier and heavier. So we're all in Vegas. Well, towards the end of the convention, some people leave early. You know, some people are out, 2 days earlier. She wants to stay because she likes to gamble. But she doesn't have any money. She didn't have a room to stay in. She was mooching off of somebody else, right? Mm-hmm. Well, she bumps into me at the casino, hangs out, a lot of rubbing, and you know how when they like to put that thing on your lap and move it around, let you know what you might get later on.
Right.
I don't have a place to stay. Are you going to stay a few days? I said, yeah, I'll be here for a couple more days. You mind if I room with you? Yeah, it's only one bed. So I don't care. So she moves her stuff in. We had a little fun that night. I mean, just gambling-wise. I'm thinking when I get back to the room, we're going to get something.
Oh, you thought that. When they say room with you, they're telling you there's not going to be any sex. That was a red flag.
Well, I said one bed. She didn't mind. She would sleep in that one bed with me.
I understand that, but even then, you know what? I've had this experience with women wearing, burlap sacks or flannel nightgowns or chastity belts or whatever.
Right.
They'll sleep in the same bed with you, all right, because she's rooming with you, because women are the cheapest creatures on earth.
Oh, tell me about it. She's got no more gambling money. She asked me to borrow a few $100s. Now, I got some money. I got about $500 of my money back. I lost $5, got about $5. So she knows I got a few $100. Mm-hmm. She wants to borrow a couple $100 until we get back to L.A. Right. She ain't got no money in L.A. So I'm not giving her any cash. I'll never see it again. So I tell her I don't have very much.
Right.
And she gets kind of ticked off and says, I'm going to go hang down in the casino because we were on our way back to the room when she wanted to borrow this money. So I go to the room. She goes down to the casino. I know what's going to happen. I take my money out of my wallet and hide it under my pillow. I'm laying in my bed trying to go to sleep. All of a sudden, I hear the door crack. And somebody tiptoe in and go over to the dresser where my wallet is. And you know how you're laying where you can just see out the corner of your eye? You've got that position where you can see what's going on over there. And it's still dim in the room. And I crack one eye open.
Yeah.
That little bitch is going through my wallet looking for some money.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can't find any, damn, walks out of the room. I got up, an hour later, packed my stuff, checked out, told the clerk that I'm checking out, and left.
I love that.
Now, I'm sure she got a ride home because she has no problem getting a ride.
Right, because all the guys
girl.
think they're going to get lucky, like you thought so.
But you believe the nerve of that going to steal from me?
There's a lot of that out there.
Well, you need to school us. You school us well, Tom.
Well, Kevin,
I appreciate everything you do for us.
thank you, and I'm glad you left that bitch where she was. With no way to get into your room. Once you check out, they changed the code on the pass key. She can't get back into the room. She's screwed.
Oh, cool. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. 1-800-5800-TOM. Have you ever just left somebody, like, in an inconvenient location because they just were too much to take? Eh? It's Paul on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
Paul.
I had to call in. This topic is killing me.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, driving, I had made plans with my then girlfriend to drive down from Ventura to San Diego.
Right.
We were planning on sharing the drive, long drive, after work, after a full day work, go to pick her up in my car, pack the car up. She proceeds to fall asleep, and halfway through the trip starts to nag about what we will do and won't do over the weekend. I got to the point where I made up my mind about three-quarters of the way there, drove up to the hotel lobby, got the bellman or the bellboy, tipped them heavily, asked them to bring her bags upstairs, proceeded to go back to the car, and drove right back home. Took my ass right back to Ventura County that night.
Good for you. Did you ever hear what happened?
No. She ended up, the bill was supposed to have been on my name, and, I guess she ended up paying for the bill, and she ended up calling a friend to come back home, but I just couldn't take it. It was like 3 hours of torture on the entire drive down there.
Unbelievable.
I know what you're talking about. I had to dial in.
Thank you for that, Paul. Now, speaking of leaving your girl just to any old place, here's somebody who apparently did that. This story from Los Angeles. Police in Corona have been looking for a man they say raped a 34-year-old woman after she accepted a ride in his car early in the morning. Police said the woman had been arguing with her boyfriend as they drove down Highway 91. The woman got out of the car, and the boyfriend drove away. I'm getting out right here. You let me out right here, right here, right here, right here. Okay. Ever had one of those? Oh, I've had that. One of my ex-relationships, I let her out on Hollywood Boulevard late at night in heels. And it was a long walk home. Ooh-wee. Yep. Ever do that? Ever have a girl in your car, you're driving, and every time you stop at a light, she starts to unlock the car? I'm getting out right here, right now, I'm getting out. And you're supposed to, say, oh, please don't, please, let's talk it over, please. I never do that. That's exactly what I say, Gary. Okay, how about you get out this next corner right here? See ya. I don't play that game. If you have ever been involved with me, you know not to play that game with me. Because I will always say, okay, right here. How's right here? How about you get out right here? Okay, get right out here. That's like the chick I was with one night who was with me at a date. It was like a date. We were at the Museum of Television and Radio for an event. And she was there with me, and as usual, she was convinced that I was looking at other women. Which I hadn't been, but she was convinced I was. So after she'd had about 17 ample martinis, she said, "That's it! I'm driving home. I'm getting out of here." And she's drunk. But the idea is, of course, I'm supposed to chase her down to the garage, make a big scene in front of all of my peers in the radio business. I'm supposed to get her not to do it, which she later told me that's what I should have done. But I didn't do that. So she went storming out, made a big scene, and I continued talking to my friends. And she drove drunk from the Museum of Television and Radio all the way home to Sherman Oaks. That's a long-ass drive through the canyon if you've been boozing, and she'd been boozing. So she got in the old Toyota Camry and drove all the way through Coldwater Canyon. Somehow made it through the twists and turns of Coldwater Canyon, down the hill into Sherman Oaks. Then down Ventura Boulevard to the part of Sherman Oaks that looks an awful lot like Van Nuys. In fact, I suspect it is Van Nuys, but these are the people who say they live in Sherman Oaks, but I don't think they really do. Yeah, that's calling up the next day. You didn't even follow me. You didn't even see if I was okay. Latinos, you shut up. You know. Didn't even you didn't even call. I could have been killed. Ever have one of those? Well, anyway, this story, police in Corona looking for a man, they say, raped a 34-year-old woman after she accepted a ride in his car early in the morning. Police said the woman had been arguing with her boyfriend as they drove down Highway 91. The woman got out of the car and her boyfriend drove away. According to police, the woman then got into a stranger's car at about 1:30 a.m., where she was driven to a remote location and raped inside the vehicle. Now, of course, rape is wrong. It's terrible. If they ever catch this guy, he should be convicted to the fullest extent of the law. But, girls, when you decide to be a petulant bitch and you decide to test our will by threatening to get out of the car or by getting out of the car, this is what could happen to you. Just keep that in mind next time you decide to be a bitch. It's bad, bad, bad. But you know what? Don't get out of the car like an idiot. Stay in the goddamn car. Stop trying to be such a drama queen. Says here the woman repeatedly kicked the windshield during the struggle and caused the window to crack. And that was just with the boyfriend. No, that wasn't with the boyfriend. Police described the assailant as a white man in his late 30s, about 150 pounds, with a pockmarked face. Vehicle is a dark four-door sedan, perhaps a Honda or Hyundai. There you go. Anyway, so have you ever left a chick somewhere and then something really, really bad happened? 1-800-5800-TOM. Clint on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
All right, Clint.
Hey, short time, first time. Got a story for you. When I was living just outside of Las Vegas in a town called Henderson, met a girl and decided to take her to Disneyland. She'd never been before. And the whole way down, she slept, no company, wasn't worth anything. Pissing and moaning when she was awake to go to the bathroom, this and that, buy me this and that. We'd only been at Disneyland for probably, less than 2 hours. And she couldn't find anywhere to buy cigarettes, so she was going to be more of a nag.
Oh, now I have to find out how it ends, but we have a break, so stay right there, Clint.
The Tom Leykis Show. This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles at 1-800-5800-TOM. All right, we're talking about guys, mostly. In fact, so far it's been all guys, but there'll be some women here before we're done who have left chicks somewhere. Just they got sick of being with them. They were a big pain in the ass. Left them somewhere. Now, Clint was about to tell a story about a woman that had never been to Disneyland, and he took her to Disneyland from Las Vegas. And what happened then, Clint?
Oh, she just bitching and whining, didn't seem happy. Her face looked like she tasted a lemon, had a sour look on her face the whole time. And she wanted her cigarettes, this and that, buy me this, and just it wasn't working for her, and it was just killing my mood. And I told her, hey, that little store over there, they might have a pack of cigarettes there. If that's going to cheer you up, go on for it. She moseyed on over there, and I left. Went out to my truck, got in, headed back up the road to the 15 and on up into Henderson again, back to Vegas.
Wow. Did you ever hear from her? Like, did she try calling your cell phone or?
No, but I did talk to one of her friends, and they said that she wound up spending the night there and called her to come pick her up the following day.
That's a long drive from Las Vegas to Disneyland.
You bet, about 4 hours. So, a little more than 4 hours, so I couldn't hack it. I mean, just unappreciative. It's supposed to be the happiest place in the world, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my story, Tom. Take me out THX style.
Here you go, Clint. One 800-5800-TOM. Carlos on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
I'm calling because I totally agree with you. I had an ex-girlfriend. We were driving down the 5 in L.A.
Yeah.
And she starts whining, complaining, telling me what a jerk I am.
Uh-huh.
Which is fine, you know. But she's complaining, and next thing you know, she's telling me, "Hey, I'm gonna get off your car," and she doesn't care that we're driving down the 5 South in the middle of the freeway. Mm-hmm. So she keeps nagging, yelling obscenities at me. Next thing you know, I tell her, "You know what? I've had it." I kind of pull over a little bit to the side in the middle of the freeway, and literally kind of shove her out. And she gets out of the car, and she lived like about 6 miles from there, from where I dropped her off, and she was wearing heels and the whole 9 yards. But
I love when they're wearing heels and then they get out of the car. That's the best.
Well, the whole point of this is that no matter, even when you do stuff like this, they end up calling you back, because she ended up calling you back and saying she was sorry and she apologized. And it just pretty much taught me a lesson that, really you got to do what you feel is right.
You got to be a man, and sometimes that means kicking a broad out of the car and saying, "See ya."
Yeah, you know what? And after that, she just turned out to be a much better girlfriend.
So you kept seeing her after that, and now she was better behaved and not so much of a bitch.
No.
Because she knew you'd do the same thing again.
Yeah, and you know what? She didn't pull that crap anymore. So, and you know what? I've done that with other people that I've gone out with, and they'll say, "You know what? I'm leaving," and they get out of the party. Mm-hmm. I still stay at the party. I'm partying with friends. And an hour and a half later, they'll come back and they'll sit down and just shut up. Because they realize, it's useless.
Yeah, you're not putting up with crap. I love that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Mark on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you tonight?
All right.
Show.
Thank you.
Story. This actually kind of takes place long before the Tom Leykis days, so I was really left to my own devices to figure it out.
Yeah.
I had the really fortunate opportunity to go out with an LA-10. I don't know how I did it, but I managed to.
She had low self-esteem, so low she'd even have sex with you.
Probably. Nevertheless, we were from Orange County, and I thought, I could take her to L.A. and really impress her and show her some great restaurants. So I thought the best place to take her would be the Pantry.
And I was just at the Pantry about a month ago.
It's a wonderful place.
Had a steak there late at night. It was spectacular.
So anyhow, we get to the Pantry. We're waiting in line, and immediately she starts to cop her attitude. And I said, "Well, what's wrong?" She goes, "I can't believe that you would take me to a dive place like this." I said, "Actually, it's not. It's historical. They've got wonderful food. There's a lot of history here." So she moaned and groaned, and finally I said, "Okay, let's try someplace else." So I drove her all the way to Philippe's. Again, same reenactment of the same story. I said, "Listen, I'm at a loss. What would you like me to do?" She said, "Well, I want to go to a nice fancy restaurant someplace." So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm desperate. This is the best I'm going to get. So I drove myself and her all the way up to Melrose, and we went to, and is it Angeline's or Angelique's?
Angelique Cafe on Melrose, yes.
Now, how could you go wrong there?
It's spectacular.
We're sitting there. We order the dinner. She gets the meal, and she says, "You know what? This just isn't what I want. I'm not happy." At that point, I said, "Fine." Dropped the credit card down, paid for it. We left. We're arguing all the way back to Orange County. We got about.
I'm sorry you paid. I would have let out right there. I would have said, "I'll go to the bathroom, then we'll leave," and then I would just leave.
Keep in mind, Tom, this was before the days of Tom Leykis.
I understand. Yes.
So we get to about where General Hospital is. You know how seedy that area is. We pull off at one of these gas stations. And I said, "This is it. I'm pulling over. I'm dropping you off. You can find your own way home. You can get a cab." So as soon as we pull into this gas station, There's nothing but guys selling tortillas. You know the kind of element I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Talking about seedy. Tom, the look on this girl's face, she went absolutely white. I literally kicked her out of the car, hit the lock button. She was chasing the car down, hitting the windows, grabbing onto the doorknobs, with me driving off. Here's the best part of the story. I finally let her in. I felt bad, and I thought, this is going to be the coldest and the most hated ride home. And it was. But when we got back to my house, the whole demeanor changed. She couldn't wait to get in bed with me.
Oh, I'll bet.
Go figure.
She had to make it up to you.
I guess so. Anyhow, Tom, I enjoy your show. I listen every night. This is the first time I've been on. Thanks, and I appreciate all the work you're doing.
Mark, thank you. The Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Let's say hello here to Carrie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Carrie, the first female caller this hour.
I love it. Well, I've been listening to you for a long time, and I just have to say that you always make me laugh. You're hilarious, and you're right on.
Thank you.
I'm one of the women that got left far away from home.
You got left. How did that happen?
Well, I was seeing a guy for a while, and it wasn't anything written in stone. We were just seeing one another. And he took me down to Havasu for the weekend to have a good time. Mm-hmm. And, what goes down in Havasu stays in Havasu. I went there to have a good time. And we took the boat out. I got out of the boat, started drinking. Apparently he saw me hook up with another guy, got angry without me knowing, packed up all his friends, took his boat back to the hotel, grabbed their stuff, and bailed. And I didn't find out till about 5 hours later when I was drunk off my ass. Mm-hmm. And took a boat back in with some random people that I'd met, went up to the hotel. All my stuff was packed out front, nice and neatly, ready to go, and I couldn't get in. And I was left there.
Wow. Now, of course,
it was hilarious.
You thought it was hilarious. You do understand that even if it wasn't written in stone that you had a monogamous relationship, that when a guy takes you with him on a trip, and he's paying for the gas, if nothing else, or the hotel room, he's paying for exclusivity. He's not paying so you can go on down there and hook up with somebody else.
Well, he should have said something like...
No, dear.
I don't know, whatever,
Dear. Hopefully you learned your lesson. I mean, a guy does not take you to Havasu or Vegas or Tahoe or Phoenix or Malibu or anywhere if his plan is not to have your complete attention.
Well, you have a couple drinks and you do things that maybe you wouldn't do if you were necessarily sober.
And then you pay the consequences, as you did.
Well, hey, I had a great time. I met new people there, and I met a couple people who took me home, and the only thing I had to say to him was, you missed out on a great party.
Wow. But the thing is, he didn't want to go to a party where you were macking on some other guy after he paid for your hotel room. And I understand where he's coming from.
We actually went into that hotel room together. There was like 7 of us, and all of us paid. He didn't pay for anything, and I even told him.
So when you say he took you, what does that mean?
He drove me up there, but that's about as far as it went. I mean, He didn't really go out of his way to pay for the hotel or my food or my drinks or anything.
Right. Well, it's understood. You may not understand this, but it's understood. When a guy takes you away for the weekend, he expects to be with you.
Well,
and if you don't want to be with him... What?
I said if you wanted to be alone with me and have quality time, A, you don't take me to Havasu where it's a party town. Everybody gets drunk and has menage a trois. And
is that what they do in Havasu? What are we doing here, for God's sake?
Not that. Havasu's crazy.
Well, Carrie, Dean wants to know when you and he and I are going up to Havasu.
What? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Dean wants to know when you and he and I are going up to Havasu.
Hey, this weekend, let's go.
I love it. Write that down, Dean. Get her name. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Brad on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what's happening, Tom? I love this topic, man.
Thank you.
I have a great story, and this is just, I'm so proud of this, and my buddies just pat me on the back every time we get buzzed and talk about it because it was great. Let's see, about 4 years ago I had a girlfriend, and we were together about 2 years. And we were graduating college at the same time. And in December, we started planning a big trip to backpack through Europe, after graduation and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, cool, honey, that sounds great. Things were cool at the time. And we were planning on going after graduation, and graduation's like in May and June. So I had to give her my money, my deposit, and like my full money by like April. So I did it. And then kind of like when I gave her my money, I was kind of a little hesitant. You know, I was like, things aren't too good with her. I don't know if I can go through Europe. But I was like, you know, maybe it'll be good for us, you know. So I paid my money, and we did our Europe trip. And we were, you know, we were leaving. And on my plane, I was just like, man, I don't know if I can handle this woman for this long. She's just doing typical 2-year relationship type stuff. Just I'm starting to hate her, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know if I can be with this lady. So we arrive in London. We were going to start in London and go all the way down to, like, Greece and all that stuff. So we started in London. 2 days in London, I realized I cannot hang with this chick for 45 days. And our ticket was already etched in stone, you know, our plane ticket. So I'm like, I can't hang with her. So we moved down to Paris a couple days later. I'm in my hotel room in Paris, and these European women, Tom, are just breaking my neck. I'm moving it so much looking at them, you know. I'm just falling in love. I realized I was better than what I was with my chick, and she wouldn't stop. Just, you want to talk about bitch, it's that was her. And so I woke up one morning. My bags were packed because it was just in a big backpack. Left the hotel, Tom. And I jumped on the train, and I went to a whole different country while she was laying in her bed, and she had no idea I left. And I remember, like, a couple days later, I checked my email, and I just had messages all over it from her. Where are you? You know, first of all, she tries to be nice, and then after a couple days, she realizes what I did, and then she's the big, you know, bitch on the messages a couple days later. And to come to find out, I didn't see her again until I had to return. I was at London Heathrow Airport. I seen her at the airport on the return flight, and we just stared at each other. And if looks could kill, I would not be talking to you right now. You know? And I think she kind of took the hint, you know what I mean? It was over, and I'll tell you what, I met a girl when I was in Europe, had a great time with her, met new people. My disaster trip turned into something just unbelievable. And
I love it.
I'm so proud of it because my buddies still can't believe I did it. No, but I wouldn't have been here, man, if I had to live with her in Europe for a month and a half, just her and I. It would have been just hell.
Brad, I am so proud.
Tom Leykis.
Okay.
1-800-5800-TOM. Tom.
I'm not married presently. I'm dating a single mom. You want to beat me up for that?
Have you had anal sex with her?
Well, I think that's a good form of discipline.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Amy on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey. I was just wondering if you believe that you attract what you are, because it sounds like most of the men that call on this show are a bunch of, it reminds me of teenagers that got, like, teased in high school and now they're angry, and you know what I mean? It's like, it just sounds like you guys are all a bunch of losers that got over, sorry my language, that got screwed over by women. And
by the way, if a person has a penis, I'm going to put you on hold there. If a person has a penis, they have been screwed over by a woman. That's pretty much how you know.
And women have been screwed over by men. That's life.
Well, you know what? If you're ever driving the car, you can leave a guy somewhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just letting you know that most people attract what they are. And
well, now it's the second time you've said that. You need more. You need new material. You need new material, dear. You can't keep repeating the same lines over and over. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Here is Kazara. Kazara, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi. First of all, it's Tezera. How are you?
Oh, Tezera.
Tezera.
Oh, okay, I was just reading it off the screen. Tezera.
Yeah, I love your show. I just moved back from San Francisco, and I listen to you every night on my way home, and I had to call in tonight. I'm 34, I'm black, I'm an attorney, and I'm absolutely no nonsense. I had a boyfriend of 1.5 years, and I think we both gave each other crap back and forth, especially in the car. And this is a lesson to everyone. When you're in the passenger seat, shut your mouth. You are not in control. You can get out at any time. You can also be kicked out. We drove from Los Angeles down to Tijuana, and we also went to Ensenada, and we were driving a rental car, which should not have been out of the States, and we disagreed as to where I should park this car, and he kept nagging me, and finally, and he was black, I will tell you, he said, you know what, you're just a black bitch. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. So we went shopping, I treated him to lunch, and then I left his black ass in Ensenada and drove back happily to L.A. He had a 9-hour bus ride that took him through every barrio in Southern California.
Listen how proud you are of that. I love it.
The Tom Leykis Show.